Cold weather, Christmas Eve certainly brought it. It also brought a record of COVID-19 cases here in Georgia. Health officials connecting part of that peak to holiday travel and worry cases will continue to spike in the new year. Paula Sura dives into the latest numbers of cases this morning and testing here in Georgia.
After a big jump in COVID-19 cases on Christmas Eve, numbers went back to what we were seeing earlier this month. But health experts fear we're just at the start of another surge like the one we saw after Thanksgiving travel, except Christmas Eve numbers were even higher than what they were back in November.
Girl, that mess was full, top to bottom, packed, wasn't an empty seat.
That uptick in travel is what Dr. Jeremy Willis, who works at a healthcare lab, says eventually leads to an uptick in COVID-19 numbers. A record number of travelers could signal just the start of another COVID-19 case surge in the nation.
We want to do the same things that we were doing before the pandemic in the midst and the height of the pandemic. And as contagious as this virus is, you cannot do that.
On Christmas Eve, the state saw almost 8,000 COVID-19 cases. That's a record number. Christmas Day, more than 5,000 cases were reported. Experts say an increase in testing after Thanksgiving could also be a reason for that Christmas Eve spike. This week alone, the state has been doing about 40,000 tests per day, an increase of about 24%.
I'm just not gonna let that box me in and determine how I'm gonna live my life. So if I take proper precautions, I should be able to do, act normally. As long as I'm wearing my mask and protecting myself and myself against others.
Despite advice from the CDC to stay home, airports saw record numbers of travelers in the U.S., with more than 1.1 million flying the day before Christmas Eve. According to TSA numbers, that's the highest amount of travelers since mid-March. Christmas Eve numbers went down with under 1 million catching a flight compared to last year when more than 2.5 people flew. But Dr. Willis says the many travelers airports have already seen could still mean bad news going forward.
You're going to have a spike of 5,000 deaths a day in January. You can count it from this day and you can move a month out and I promise you, you'll be at 4,000 or 5,000 deaths a day. And that's going to continue until, again, we just let the virus die.
If you're traveling back after the holidays, the CDC recommends you get tested 1 to 3 days before your trip, then again 3 to 5 days after your trip.